So, the People of the Dragon DLC has been out for a couple of days now, and if you haven't already got it, you're probably wondering if you should. Today, we'll be reviewing the DLC, going over the good parts, the bad, and giving it a rating to hopefully help you guys make an informed decision. Also, to celebrate the release of the People of the Dragon DLC, my new wallpaper Rise of the Nemedians is now available on my Patreon at the $5 and above tier. This wallpaper, along with the Dark Hearts one and all future wallpapers, are available in both 1080p and 4K resolutions, and they are yours to keep forever. So if you'd like to get this wallpaper and the future wallpapers and support the channel, the link to my Patreon is in the description. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's start off first with the price. The People of the Dragon DLC falls in line with all of the cosmetic DLC packs and comes in at £8.99 or $9.99 if you're in the US. As with all other DLCs, I think this is a fairly reasonable price. The DLC is based on the medieval Germanic style, which is a style that has been missing from Conan for far too long. The Nemedians, the focus of this DLC, take a lot of inspiration from Robert E. Howard's book Hour of the Dragon, which features the Nemedian kingdom heavily. This influence is shown in the armours and weapons too, with the armours being heavily based on descriptions given within that book. So, what's in the DLC? We'll start with the building pieces, the Nemedian set, which adds 48 new building pieces. This includes your typical door frames, pillars, walls, fences, etc., but it also includes some new and returning pieces. This pack includes some nicely designed vaulted ceilings, but also includes a couple of new items such as a new window frame that sticks out from the wall with an open slot at the top, a high-peaked rooftop cap and a new sloped roof window, which is very nice and suits the style well. Of course, these pieces are all black ice equivalent, so they will be reasonably expensive to craft in survival. For the armour, you've got 15 new armour pieces in 3 sets. This includes the Nemedian Scout, Infantry and Officer sets, which are light, medium and heavy respectively. It's a fairly unique and quite nicely designed armour style, though from what I've seen it does seem to be a bit hit or miss when it comes to how much people like it. One thing that is a definite upside though is that these armours take dyes really well. You unfortunately can't dye the chainmail on the heavy set, but aside from that all of the armours take dyes of different colours really nicely, so I think you'd be quite surprised at how well they work with other colours and tones. Of course, all these sets do have an epic endgame version. You also get some new Nemedian weapons, 12 to be precise, including a shield. In my opinion, some of these weapons are quite nice, whereas others are just okay. Some of the new weapons definitely look great, but others just have a bit too much purple or green going on that kind of makes them feel a little bit out of place. This set also includes a katana, of course, which a few people have said is a missed opportunity to include a German Messer sword, and I do definitely agree with that. The actual design of the weapons is quite simple, it doesn't stray too far in any one direction. Most of them are honestly not really to my taste, but most of the weapons are fairly nicely designed. Of course they are equivalent to iron weapons, with each having an epic endgame version. You also get 32 new placeables with this DLC, both new ones and redesigns of currently existing placeables. Honestly, they are really quite nice. This set has some wonderful design in the placeables, especially the banner, gong and fireplace. It's a style that works very nicely with some of the Watchers pieces and even some of the pieces in the base game, so it's a very flexible style. The only placeable I don't really like is the new books they've added, though I do appreciate the effort to give us things to put on the new shelves. Finally, 3 horse saddles available at level 60. These include the Scout, Cavalry and Warhorse saddles, which are good for manoeuvrability, speed and defence respectively. There isn't too much to really say about these saddles. They suit the Nemedian theme and they look good if you're wearing the armour too. However, they're not the best looking saddles in the game. The fur and fibre textures on the saddles are really quite nice though. The devs have clearly worked really hard on this design, it's just not to my personal taste. So now you know what's in the set, let's go look at all the factors combined and then give this DLC a rating. First up, this set is quite flexible, which is something that I think is very important. In my previous review of, at the time, all of the DLCs, I previously gave Terranian a not so great rating, partially because of its lack of flexibility, so the ability for a DLC to work well with other styles is quite important I think. I think Nemedian honestly does that really well. Not only does it work with the Watchers and the base game pieces, but it also plays really nicely with some of the other building sets. For example, I find that Stable and Yamatai work really nicely with Nemedian, and I imagine that insulated wood would also work quite well. I'm not so sure about sets like Khitan or Frontier, but I imagine they could work under certain circumstances. The Nemedian pack is a very flexible tile set, and that is definitely a massive upside for this DLC. So, the good and the bad. Well, on the good side of things, this DLC is really nicely designed. There's a great attention to detail. The building pieces fill that medieval niche really nicely, without being too restrictive, and the armours are quite nice too, and of course there are also a ton of really nice placeables. However, on the negative side, I think the saddles are a bit underwhelming. They're not bad as such, they're just nothing to write home about, and I feel the same about some of the weapons. Alongside that, I think the new Nemedian fences are a bit too thick to be using inside a house, so you'd have to use insulated wood, stable or flotsam fences I think. And also the sloped roof windows don't run flush with the rooftop pieces, which would have been really nice if they did, but it's not a massive fault that they don't. Furthermore, this DLC unfortunately does not add any new lighting options, and there is a slight issue sometimes where if you place a staircase leading up to a tile with an awning on it, your character might get stuck because his head can't fit underneath, though I do expect this to be hotfixed out at some point. In my personal opinion, People of the Dragon is definitely one of Funcom's best DLC packs. Whilst it does have a couple of not so great points, the sheer flexibility and attention to detail of the building set is amazing. The armours are alright too, not my personal style, but I can imagine that people will get some good use out of them, especially if you dye them. Given that it's been so long since the last traditional DLC, I think this was a really good return to form, though I think this would have been the prime opportunity to spice up the DLC format and add something new, but alas that is a topic for a different video. So what rating does People of the Dragon get? Well, I am going to give it a 4.5 out of 5, the highest rating I've given any DLC. That includes my favourite DLC, Blood and Sand. It's not the perfect pack, but it's a great showing by the devs, and I think it'll definitely end up being a lot of people's favourite building set in the future. I can see it quickly becoming mine. Would I recommend you purchase this DLC? Most definitely, especially if you're a builder. The Nemedian set is wonderful, and if you like the look of the armours, weapons and saddles, then you'll have a great time with People of the Dragon. If you like the channel and would like to see more content in the future, there are links in the description to my Twitter, Twitch, Discord, NordVPN discount, Host Havoc affiliate link and my Patreon, or, of course, you can simply just leave a like and subscribe. Any of those are greatly appreciated. If you do choose to become a patron, you'll get sneak peeks of future videos, special roles in the Coffee Cult Discord, full-size blueprint downloads, your name at the end of every video, and finally, a brand new edition for the $5 and above tiers, custom-made Conan Exiles wallpapers in both 1080p and 4K resolutions, with patrons at the $20 tier being able to request custom designs. On that note, a thanks to our current patrons Sadialot, Randar, Connor, Blue Ivy, Velma, Torn, Maril224, and Eagle Rose. If you're new here, I upload every Wednesday and Sunday, so I hope to see you then. As always, take care, and I'll see you soon.